Wad, they're waiting on it.
Cool. I'll fire it at you in the Twitter. We're live right now. Welcome to ChirpCast. This is Nifty Q. We're gonna talk about LADZ. This is what I do.
Oh, man.
Is it professional? No.
Hey.
But there it is. We're gonna share the link out real quick. So we're gonna share some music, and then we'll be back. We're gonna talk about some really cool ass stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm messaging you the YouTube link. Right, meow, boing. Throw that in some spots. So good to meet you, man. This is like the first time we're gonna chat. Hey, my name's Corey.
My name's
right. Yeah. So we were talking before, like, what are we actually talking about? I've had a few people tell me I had to talk to you. And a lot of it is around, the communities that are developing around NFTs and around community tokens. Actually minted Shipple a couple of years ago just as an experiment, which was totally fun and kind of educational around that stuff. So tell me about like what's like LADZ seems to be like the sort of central node around what you're doing. Why don't we start there?
Yeah, definitely, man. So we started LADZ specifically after we talked with Sid over at Roll. So just a little bit of background. I have that podcast, Layer 1 podcast there where I'm interviewing different people. So I'm actually in a different seat now. I'm not used to being the interviewee here, Corey. So we talked with Sid and the Roll team, who Roll has this interface and pretty much rolls out the different kind of social tokens, and they help you do that. We talked with them, I believe, in June, and by the time around July 31st, I believe, we launched LADZ, which we can definitely get into like what social tokens are, but we've had this really awesome LADZ community that sprung up around our content network that's been around for about a year and a half. So I can definitely, dive into anything you want to dive in there. I appreciate you having me on. It's really nice to meet you, by the way. Got introduced to you via Loadmaster, so love the fact that we can connect.
Right. Hashtag NFT Army for life. So yeah, well, okay. So tell me about the podcast first. Like, how long have you been podcasting for? How'd you get into the space? What's your origin story?
My origins. Yeah, I've asked this to many people, so I'm finally getting to get the origin story.
And the next question I'm going to ask is like, what's your favorite question as an interviewer?
Okay, I'll have that. Just kidding. On the look. I appreciate the vibe of this podcast, man. It's very, very similar to what we run with. But I've been in the space since 2016. I've been investing in cryptocurrencies since about then. I grew up as a Navy kid, moved around a lot. So I was used to kind of change. I was always used to kind of learning from other people and not necessarily being the person that's in the front because I'm always kind of every 3 years I'm changing spots. So I think that's definitely led to the inquisitive nature maybe I have on these channels where I'm asking things as opposed to kind of saying them. So definitely grew up. I moved all around West Coast, East Coast, what you think? And then I went to college down in the South and at Auburn University, wanted to be a personal trainer. And then I eventually got into coaching. I love lacrosse. I'm very passionate. I love to do things that fuel me. So I kind of got into the weeds in that personal training aspect, and it was a lot of old people, and it just didn't bring my energy to life there. So eventually I moved into college coaching, got to work with a lot of young people, got to work on, team development and things like that, which is very similar to community development, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But while I was working I was an assistant coach at D1 Hampton University. It was actually the first historically black college to ever have lacrosse. We were on like ESPN and all this stuff in 2016. My buddy and his brother, the Finches, they founded the company called ICO Alert. And if you've been around in the space since then, you might know about us or you might have known about us back then. But I was doing part-time work for them on the side after my kind of run on investing with them. We were kind of in small groups together in 2016. They started this company. The ICO Alert story is kind of nuts. It was started basically as a spreadsheet for them to track the different ICO investments because they were missing the different investments. It was happening so fast, right? 2016,
Right.
2017
It was
ICO.
crazy.
Yeah. We can definitely get into that, but it started as kind of a spreadsheet, and then people just started going to the website, and then more people started going to the website, and then more people started going to this website that was essentially just a spreadsheet for the brothers themselves. And then I was the first hire in 2017, mid 2017, and by I believe the same time the next year we had 15 full-time employees at ICO Alert. Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, like I got into trading probably late 2016. Like I felt like I was late to the game. I still remember my first trade was on man, it was some like wand chain or something like that. It was like just some resource model thing. It was ridiculous. And I'm used to doing Forex, right? Like I sort of trained on charts or whatever in Forex, where like if you make 1 or 2% in a day, you're like, oh, awesome, right?
Yeah.
My first trade, like in a week, it went up 700%. I'm like, what the crap? Like and that was like you could throw a dart at the market basically in 2016, 2017 and get that result. But it was crazy pants. So it's amazing. And so the ICO alerts, I totally remember seeing that out there. So it's amazing that you were kind of like drafted into the space that quickly. So I mean, you've seen basically all the shit.
Yeah, we were a tip of the spear when it came to ICOs. We actually were on the front lines trying to filter all the shitty ICOs, basically. So all these shitty ICOs would try to get to the website. We did our best to clean up that industry, but it just was too grimy. And I think people kind of went away from that a little bit. They kind of saw the couple grimy incidents, which has happened in DeFi now, but you're not seeing kind of the pushback by everyone, mostly because it's not just vaporware now.
Well, and I'm glad that's exactly where I wanted to take this. Like it seems back then it was like, oh, we have a really good idea. Cool. Here's $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay. And now, this cycle, and I mean, like I'm on the side now where like, I'm going to make something. Like if we mint a token, you're immediately getting the value of that token while it's happening. Like screw ICOs. Like we're never going to sell. We were talking about the before we're coming on. Like I could start talking about the uplift world where creating an in-game kind of land colonization game inside of Minecraft. That's going to be a game token. It's going to be the cryptocurrency and NFTs, all that kind of stuff, right? So we're never going to sell that token. We're not going to do an ICO. We're just going to produce the thing that has the value. Now, granted, we're going to sell NFTs. Because it's going to give people land rights and there's all this crazy stuff. So you were talking about we need to talk about LADZ, but you were talking about Sandbox. Tell me about that, because it sounds like this is an idea that's coming now, right? Like yay, all of these internet things, but we want to feel that sense of place. So we can bring, you were saying like your Discord channel, you're actually bringing those things into Sandbox.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a shout out to the lads that are in the chat right now, man. We got a bunch of them. I want to tell them, get all the rest of the lads in the Discord. Scott, I see you there. Foxy, I see you there. Bring all the lads in here. We want to get all the NFT army, all the lads in here for the podcast here. But yeah, I can break down Sandbox. We've been involved in metaverses for a while. We had crypto voxels. We had Decentraland Land. I remember investing in Mana back in the day, or land sales back in 2017. I'm glad they're still around. I really, it's been a while. They were kind of creating through the bear market. So I'm glad they had enough runway to make it through, because Decentraland's awesome. But Sandbox is really taking it another level, I believe. One of the things is the actual scale of the sizes of the plots. Right. I don't know if you've actually been in the editor, but the scale that you get in crypto voxels that you get in the like of Decentraland, you're getting probably like a normal house size, right? You buy these estates in the Sandbox. I mean, they're city size. They're city-sized plots that you can build a full experience on. So yeah, that's definitely what we're going to be doing is building full LADZ city. So our Discord is codenamed LADZ City. You have the different districts. Our community kind of spans the entire crypto industry. So you have guys that are interested in NFTs. They're oftentimes found in the NFT district talking about different sales. Alien Worlds is one of them. But definitely a ton of sales. DeFi district is always popping with different news on there. Trading district, we have guys who actually, my partner is former Forex on Wall Street as well, Dimitri, who's hashtag the beard within the LADZ community. So definitely what we're looking to do there is bring LADZ City in Discord to life in the Sandbox, right? So it's often hard. I mean, I'm sure you run into this a little bit where you kind of have trouble explaining what you're doing in full because we're 10 feet down the rabbit hole. I mean, we're 10 floors.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah, we are. And what we want to do, instead of trying to explain LADZ City to people saying, oh, there's all these districts and all the community kind of gets involved and you can rank up by holding our social tokens that you earn from watching our channel. Why don't we just show it? Like, here is LADZ City, and they see this big metaverse city that is like, that has all the signs that need be. We have a city center where there's a citadel. It's so much easier to experience these things visually than kind of in an idea form. So that's the idea behind LADZ City that we're looking to move into the sandbox.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why we're using Minecraft is because we want to make sure that onboarding experience is as simple as humanly possible, right? And wasn't really intended to be this way, but again, like, we went in and just started messing around with it. I have another podcast that I was doing that's kind of like an everything show, and we knew we wanted to do something in game, right? Like, it's one thing for here, in a recording like this or whatever, but like, let's make like a dopey studio in Minecraft and like, do it from there. And we're messing around with that idea. We're in there playing, and we invited a couple people into the server to be like, hey, we're new, like, we suck at Minecraft, we're terrible at this. Like, what's going on? And the guy comes in, a buddy of ours, Bob, comes in and he sets up this like 4x5 thing of wooden blocks, and he takes a sign and he puts a sign up on the wooden block and he says, this is what I'm grateful for today. Just out of the blue. Like, this is genius. People can come in here and they can actually do that. So I built an entire cathedral around it, and over the space of about 6 or 7 months, we would invite people into a live show on Sundays, right? So I'm an atheist, but I wanted to borrow off of, clearly organized religions have this thing where they're bringing people together around fellowship and community, and at least one positive intention for the week, that kind of thing. And I wanted to, like, those are things we could just do, right? And obviously anybody's welcome no matter what they believe. And so we just started trying to do that, filled the whole place up. Like, the whole building is covered wall to wall with gratitudes. So we're going to need a bigger boat.
So you guys do that every Sunday?
Every Sunday. Yeah,
awesome.
Dude, I would love for you to come, and I'd love to invite you to actually be in the game, because this Sunday is going to be the first time we're sort of inviting people, kind of bringing some luminaries in, because we're doing our first charity auction. The team built like an actual Burning Man that's rigged to blow up, like to be lit on fire. Yeah. And there's a button, like an island away from it. There's a little button that says, this is the burning button. And so the person that we're gonna create an NFT, like a picture or a video or whatever of the little Burning Man thing that we did in Minecraft. And we're auctioning that off this weekend. And whoever wins the auction, of course, it's for charity or whatever. Whoever wins the auction is going to be able to get whitelisted in the game and come in and press the button. Light the whole thing.
So they get to blow it up.
Yep, and we'll do it. It's all going to be live too. So if you just want to come and watch, we'll have it live streaming as well.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I was in my pre-episode kind of research there as an interviewee. Actually, I was like looking at that channel or the ChirpCast channel. I was looking at that episode, and I was trying to place the song. What was that song you played back to back? I loved it. I was just listening to it on loop.
Oh, dude, it's mine. That's mine.
You made that?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Thanks, man. Wow. So yeah, we're one of the things, because I work with Uplift Art. We did I'm Not the Bubble. Have you heard that yet?
No, I haven't. It sounded like Dave Matthews, man. I was vibing with it.
That high praise, quite frankly. So yeah, we did the Series 1 drop with Uplift Art, and I recorded this I'm Not the Bubble. It's about Bitcoin. I'm Not the Bubble on the pin with M Blues, my producer and soon to be partner in the Uplift world that we're creating. And so that was fun. We raised like almost $30,000 for charity with that drop, which was cool. I'll send it to you, because like, it needs to be the Bitcoin anthem. Like, I usually don't brag about songs that I am part of, but this is fucking cool. Like, it's like, we was really good. Anyway, so yeah, and then we started messing around. We're gonna do a drop for Solace, that song that you heard. And I think the way the art that we're going to incorporate for this drop, because the I'm Not the Bubble one's got like 25 different kind of pictures and different rarity levels, and it's gamified. It's the whole NFT experience. Yeah, so on this one, we're actually, the art is going to be what people produce in game. So it's going to be 3D. Take a listen to the song, come in, and we're going to invite anyone who wants to come in and build on like a 50 by 50 plot, and that will obviously make NFTs of all the top ones or whatever, and that'll end up being part of the NFT drop. So yeah,
very cool, man. I can't wait to take part.
It's gonna be fun. So definitely come Sunday. And also, I could tell you're an interviewer because I've just spent the last 10 minutes talking. So
I love it. I love listening to other people. Usually people kind of fast forward through the first part of the episode where they hear about someone's background. I love that part. Like
me too.
That's my favorite question.
I completely agree. All right, so I'm excited to come and check out the Sandbox too, because I like the fact that there are a bunch of different vectors and iterations of the idea that I'm personally working and most fascinated on right now is really interesting to me. I think we're going to learn a lot about how the way that these different things work. So I'm definitely going to want to come and check that out. So tell LADZ, what's going on with LADZ? It's a community token. Tell me more about. You said that you're working with a company that like does community tokens, because I think they're onto something too.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're looking at like the long tail of social token communities. So if they can kind of build the process and work with 1,000 different communities and they get a certain percentage of the token equity when you launch, then that's their business model, which is awesome. There's definitely a lot that are popping up. Yeah, definitely. So social tokens are definitely a whole nother rabbit hole to go down, but think of them I like to use Rogan because Rogan's probably the easiest, but our thought process here is that in 10 years, maybe even before that, if we can go quickly, every artist, streamer, podcaster, athlete is going to have their own token, or some type of conglomerate of athletes or artists are going to use a token. It is definitely hard to do. We had to plan and do all these different things to make sure the token mechanics are right. You're launching a token that's going to be potentially on the open market. So it's not going to be that easy for just some random streamer to come on and be like, I'm launching a token. Right. But the idea here is that the people that are creating and the people who are helping the creator create should be rewarded for that. And right now they're not, right? You always heard about kind of the rape of artists within the artist industry. You got where the labels are making all the money and all this different stuff. Well, that's kind of the same thing that's happening with podcasters, same thing that's happening in the Web2 environment right now, when a SoundCloud artist could have 1 million views or listens on SoundCloud and they're getting paid $10. YouTube, is taking probably, I would say, 25% cut of the things that we get on YouTube. So it's all about value capture. It's adding a layer of value capture for both the community that's participating and the creator that is creating. And there's so many different things that you can talk about there. Incentive alignment. But the basic TLDR is, imagine if Joe Rogan, when he was first starting, was able to incentivize people to listen to him, and those early supporters got to actually participate. So you earn Rogan tokens for showing up, and then you could use those Rogan tokens. Maybe if you got the most, maybe if you're number one at the end of the year, you got to go into the studio with him and all this different kind of things that you can do with a social token. It's such a rabbit hole discussion.
But I like, dude. So I created Ripple as a joke, in 2017 or 2018, whatever it was, right? Just making fun of Ripple, right? It's halfway between shitcoin and Ripple because I think I'm funny. But it was really that same kind of thing. Like, I put a post up on Facebook and said, if this gets 200 likes, I'll mint this token, because I just figured out how to do it, right, on EOS or whatever, and got 400 likes by the next day. I'm like, well, okay, because we're doing this, and then I just airdropped it to a bunch of people, right? But then we started thinking, and again, like, kind of experimenting in this space, right? Obviously, we want to incentivize, as you were saying, we want to incentivize the early adopters. And that means we basically just create the deflationary structure of Bitcoin, right? You're going to get lots this first year. Everybody is. It's going to be sloshing around like crazy, and slowly the distribution rate is what deflates. Obviously, it's not actually deflationary, but it's going to be harder and harder to get all the time. And so the early people are incentivized, but new people are still able to engage. And in fact, we're thinking about kind of embedding that in the land mechanics for the uplift world too, because we can.
It's perfect. I mean, those things work so closely together, right? Like when we have LADZ City, potentially if you have a certain amount of LADZ, you can build in LADZ City, or potentially you can't even get in. Although we don't want to kind of set up that super hard gate tokenized access structure, right? Because we want people to come in and experience. I mean, we have a tokenized access bot in our channel right now. So as you earn more LADZ, and like you said, when we were in the beginning, we were doing 100 LADZ an episode. You could get a link. We simply dropped a link in the channel just like we would now, and you click the link and you get the LADZ.
What was the company again that set that up?
Tryroll.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Tryroll.com.
Tryroll. We didn't have any of that shit. Like, that sounds awesome, right?
Yeah.
Like just having like a claim link that if you're watching this, like what we're doing right now, for example, like and ordinarily, I like to have 2 guests now, so that I could basically just like bang out NFTs the whole time. We're not going to get to that now. Everybody putting your wax count in there. I'm going to pick at least a few winners, and we'll get some stuff, right? But like, so if I had a mechanic where literally everybody who put their wax address in this YouTube stream automatically got airdropped, an NFT out of a bucket or whatever, which again, when you come to the Uplift world, just walking around that world, because we want to make sure, you're not going to be able to build everywhere. You're not going to be able to mine everywhere, but you're going to be able to walk everywhere. Just by walking around, there's going to be a random chance of getting an NFT. And per distance, you're going to be earning 1UP, which is going to be our game token, right? So it's that's the kind of thing. Like we want to turn attention and community into value, which is what you guys are doing. And I'm so fascinated with the fact that there's a company that's like, no, 10 years from now, it's all going to be like that, because they're right. And pretty soon, and we're seeing it with DeFi already, pretty soon, any token will be available to any other token in an open market. And it's just, it's going to be just the way things have always been inside 10 years.
100%. And there's definitely some things to be worked out there. Obviously, liquidity pools are a little bit down the rabbit hole again. I'm using that analogy many times because that's where we're at. But yeah, liquidity pools, like someone that's just kind of starting out is not going to be able to understand this market making effect and the importance of liquidity pools. Right. But yes, I completely agree with you. So tokenized access is something that we're super heavy about when it comes to social tokens. So essentially, LAD now would come in and come to our stream. You were right earlier too. We've had to think about the process as we go forward with 6 months down the line, we need to give less LADs in the token being traded. We need to give less LADs in those streams, and the guys that are watching would say that is correct, because what'll happen is once your token has a value, you start to get people who aren't there to interact with you for the reason that you want them to interact. They're there for the dollar value. Everybody, right. Especially in third world countries where $4 or $5 goes a long way.
A big deal, yeah.
Yeah, so we've had to look at how can we reward people still at a good rate without dropping 200 LADs an episode, which would essentially be like $20.
Yeah.
It's definitely a interesting discussion, but you have to continuously think about how you reward people who want to be part of LADs and want to be part of your social token community. Yeah,
so Chirp is kind of in line with this as well, right? So Chirp is the social media platform that I co-founded with Kurt, the great wizard himself, and that the second we had rewards on it, and so we would love to get LADs plugged into it, right? So you guys can own a channel on Chirp. It's kind of like crypto Twitter or whatever. Anytime somebody posts on it, when that post gets 10 likes, a little bit of LADs get sent over to them, right? So it's basically integrated into the social media experience. And of course, there's Telos there and Boyd and a bunch of other things. And that part's working. The second we turn it on, spam was insane, right? Like it was a huge issue, and we've got it squared away now. But we had to figure that out. Like we had to make sure that the kinds of posts that were getting created actually had some value. Right. Otherwise, you've destroyed the community, and community is the point. Without that sense of community and sharing, value with each other, then it's just raw noise, and nobody benefits from that, and everybody's going to leave.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. I definitely want to check out Chirp. I think Scott's in the chat saying I'm going to go check it out. He wants to know what's the website so he can go check that out.
Chirp.la, yo. Comma. I'm such a jackass.
Yeah. The big one, the big analogy I like to make as well with the social tokens is like I always hear, artists and streamers, they're always like, I couldn't have done it without my fans. They're from the beginning to the end, they're saying couldn't have done it without their fans. But I think what the token unlocks and what Web3 unlocks is the ability for people to actually participate and then get rewarded for actually being an early adopter, right? Because although the artist that's triple platinum now is saying I couldn't have done it without my fans, that artist is now up here and the fan is still down here. And if you have a social token, if you have these different mechanisms, you have the ability for, hey, I was the first listener of Joe Rogan. Where do you think Rogan coin would be at right now? You just from Dude, that type of
it'd be sick. And that's the thing. And I'm so happy that you guys have clued into this and are pushing it as I mean, it's clearly just from the community that's popped in here, like, hey, this is working. And I'm not surprised by that, but it's not that this can be the way it should go,
Mhm.
this should be the way that it goes, right? Like that, being able to celebrate and honor and reward early adopters in real time for engagement in real time is now something we can do. And we're just going to do it. And I think like Chirp's going to happen the same way. We don't the Chirp token coins is just internal right now. So we haven't minted it or whatever. It's basically how we manage the traffic, right? So it costs 4 coins to post, and costs 600 coins to buy a channel, that kind of thing, right? And of course, I'll front you guys personally. I'll front you guys the coins to set up a channel if you guys want to do that today. But and everybody who's new gets 50 coins, right? We start every out. We want to make sure people can do this. But it's going to that'll be deflationary too, right? At the end of the day, we want you to collect as many coins as humanly possible, and when we mint them, or at the very least, they're advertising space buyers on the platform. So it's just going to be that thing. So it's cool. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be kind of I think what you see with like ICOs and DeFi is this boom and bust and then boom again, and it just gets a little bit bigger. There's going to be that with social tokens. There's going to be communities that pop up that have no kind of formal structure and anything like that, and they'll bust out, just like you saw with DeFi with the 12,000 different sushi coins and stuff like that. So I actually like that you're starting with the token not having any value. That's what we did. Our community started 12 months ago with everything we were doing. So the token didn't actually have a value till about a month ago, and that's how you build a community. Whereas if you start it at a point of like, this is value exchange, you're just here for the money. This is just a monetary relationship. It's a non-starter. Yeah,
it doesn't work. And that ultimately is what we found when we flipped the switch on Telos, which is our first test token on Chirp. And we were like, basically, if you signed up, you automatically got 1,000 coins. Now it costs 4 coins to post. And people were just like, oh, well, I have 50 million email addresses. We got smashed, like dragged into the back alley, and they beat the crap out of us for a few days. But we got that figured out. But that's the thing. It comes down to value. And it's interesting, too, that the sort of the inflation of, okay, well, this idea works. There's a low barrier of entry to fork this idea. And then it gets less and less value really, really quickly. Where the community tokens are going to win is those communities end up creating a society, a cohesion that is, in my opinion, the real value that will underpin that token in that economy, right? And now you're bringing it into to the Sandbox, where now it's not just a people, it's a place and a people. That's a exponentially more valuable, right? Like that's why we're building the Uplift world. And honestly, I'm inviting you guys right now to come in and build a little outpost on our planet.
Oh yeah,
right. And because it's it's gonna be good. So yeah, I mean, it just you talk about rabbit holes. We've been down like 9 of them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm comfortable down here though. We're comfortable.
Dude, it's where we live. It's where we live.
It is where we live.
But like just like the philosophical angle of being able to look at a community, okay, how can we produce value for ourselves? I mean, ultimately, that's kind of what Bitcoin did, right? It's like you guys all have made your story about the dollar and, that we're going to agree that this means of exchange is real or whatever. Bitcoin's just like, nah, math, right? And a community develops around that. And you have the Bitcoin maximalists that don't care that China could basically turn it off if they wanted to, right? Like, that's fine. But that community has cohesion. And that value is currently worth $500 billion in real dollars.
Yeah.
Like however you want to think about that means of exchange, it's real as fuck.
It's just it's the beauty of Web3, right? Because usually if we wanted to do a point system like what you could claim LADZ is right now, you'd have to do it on the platform. Like I'd have to do it within YouTube or Twitch. I think Twitch has it where they're earning points. What you're doing with Web3 is now I can do that on every platform based on tri-roll. So now we're unbundled from, and unchained is probably the better word there. Shout out Laura Shin. But it's definitely is. It's now we're if we go to Twitch, if we go to YouTube, if we go to different platforms, ChirpCast and Chirp, we could take that with us, and that's the beauty of it. We're not like locked into a platform, which I think a lot of people do get locked into certain areas. They're like, I can't leave there because I'll lose my following. So
right, yeah. Actually, Jimmy's in here today. We do the weekly update on Thursday mornings, and he already said up thread he totally wants to invite you on. So we're just gonna have you back.
Hey man,
hopefully you're up at 9:00 on Thursday mornings. But
for you, I will.
Nice. I totally just lost my train of thought.
No, you're good, man. I think social tokens and NFTs like have a lot of different synergies as well.
Agreed.
Right? Like we talked about, what we want to do is the guys are ranking up in our system via these bots that can detect how many LADs are in their wallet. So you're ranking up by earning more and more, and the rank might actually become maybe you get an NFT that is a key to the city.
Right. Well, and that's ultimately what we're doing with the uplift world, right? Like NFTs are going to be the way that you get in. NFTs are going to be the way that you show, trade, and sell land ownership. But we've also got a bunch of different things where, again, NFTs are going to be discoverable in the world, right? Like either walking around or mining, a certain low percentage of just kicking out an NFT. One of my favorite ones that we're working on is, you get, I don't know, let's say one up token per 100 yards that you walk or whatever, right? If you hold a traveler or a wanderer NFT in your wallet, well, that's a 10% increase. You have a 10% increase to get one up. You have a 10% increase to find other NFTs. So there's like a million different ways that we can do that all just basically encode incentives, even incentives to, like, if you're holding a LADZ NFT and you happen to be in the LADZ, I mean, hell, we could build you a city or like just an outpost, whatever, right? You're in that place, you're automatically getting more LADZ because we've buried LADZ in the ground. If you guys want to do that, right? Or just so we can take the communities that are around there and incentivize them to be there, obviously, right? But have their communities incentivized to actually show up. And it's not about our stuff. I mean, it will be, but it's about their stuff too. Because we can bury whatever we want in the ground. It's our planet.
Yeah, the cross pollination that's going to go on between communities with this stuff is going to like 10x our speed to where we're trying to get. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So, what else do you want to talk about?
I'm open to anything, man. I appreciate all the lads that have showed up. I see a lot of familiar faces. I've got Richard. I've got Llama. Shout out to Llama, man. Llama's been amazing. He's one of our moderators in our chat. It's something that we have start to uncover itself over time. Is the cream rises to the top a little bit. You kind of start the community, and you kind of get the sense of, okay, who is kind of helping out here, who really sees the vision of what's happening. Llama's definitely one of those guys. And social tokens have made that possible, but definitely communities can do that without social tokens. I just think it's an awesome little perk to have.
Oh, it comes down to community, right? I mean, that on Sunday, we were doing the whole gratitude ceremony, and all of you guys are invited. In fact, I'll stream it to this channel just so it's easier for people to find. But what's really fun with that, we've got some people that are in game that are helping us. It's gonna get busy now, where instead of throwing in your Wax wallet, you're talking about one thing that you're grateful for, and somebody who's in the game who has been helping us for a really, really long time. Somebody's in the game is going to read that comment, and they're going to go and they're going to put it on a permanent monument that will live there. As long as there's electrons flowing through that server, that thing's going to be there, right? If you ever come into the game, you're going to be able to go to the cathedral, which will always be the center of the world. You're going to be able to go to the cathedral and walk up to that monument and visit it, right? And that has been profound. But it goes back to, those people that are the helpers and the builders and the community bit of it. Because again, without the community, there's nothing, right? There's people that are going to come for different reasons. Like there's some people that are going to come and hang out and like, I want some LADZ. I mean, I want some LADZ right now, because you guys are going to kick ass, right? Like this is the thing that, I have a reasonable certainty that whatever LADZ I get my hands on now, 10 years from now, probably be worth more than they are now. Right? So there's those people, right? And you want those people around, so that's good. But you're always going to have, like you said, those people that come in that are intentional and sort of see the vision, or even just feel it. They might not even get it all the time, right? Like I have people that have never owned cryptocurrency in their lives. The second they got their hands on Sir Shipple, they're like, "This is magical. Why? I don't even get it." Right? This is a thing that we can do now. So it's just it's I'm so glad that you guys are experiencing that. And here you are celebrating them here, because that's a huge part of it, right? Because without those people that are coming in to do work and lift everybody else up, then it'd just be lame.
Absolutely, man. While you were talking, I was thinking about kind of the idea that you have this monolith structure right in the center, and you have people kind of saying thank you for all of this, and maybe adding a donation feature that can go into some sort of fund, because I know DAOs and governance are kind of this abstract thing that people like to talk about, and it hasn't really been solved, nor do I think it's not an equation that can ever get solved. I think it's always going to be kind of ambiguous, but the ability to do things within these communities in a Web3 environment all around the world is one of the things that I'm super, super involved in. You need a little bit of governance. You need a little bit of that DAO structure. But what if you could have people donate into a fund? It wouldn't be a lot. But if you want to get this one structure, you put it into this, it goes 100% to a fund, not to the team, not to anything. And then you can actually start to do things.
I'm telling you right now, we're doing that.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
No, and honestly, so all of the uplift.art thing, the reason why I was so excited about it, like we did I'm Not the Bubble, which was our single release. You can search for it on YouTube and get the video. If you could look at Blue Crypto, one word on YouTube, you'll be able to find it, right? So we dropped that as an NFT. It's a collectible. You can find it on Atomic Hub. And basically we raised like 50, 60 grand from that, right? Every single drop that Uplift Art does, 50% automatically goes to charity. So it went to a charity called Haitian Roots, where we basically fed like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids in Haiti over the Christmas. So we raised $30,000 for them, right? And here's the thing. I made 10 grand from that. You know how many times I made 10 grand from a single? Fucking zero, right? So I win a lot, and obviously some goes back to the organization so we can do this more. And 50% goes to charity. Now we're going to be doing with the Burning Man auction that we're doing this weekend. Same thing, right? Don't tell anyone that helped, and I don't think they're actually watching now. Don't tell anyone in our game that was watching. Yeah, exactly. Just don't. But I told them it was all for charity. It's just going to be for charity. But they're getting 25%. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't care. But they built the thing in like 3 hours. It was incredible. But yeah, so there's a million things we could do. But to your point, so that I don't forget it, because it's genius. Figure out a way so that, and maybe it could just be as simple as, it costs XYZ or make any donation, for example, and we'll put a gratitude up on the thing for it. So I think that it's going to get busy enough that we're going to want to have that filter anyway, so that our people inside the game aren't swamped.
Yep.
But 100% of that, because this year, and with the Solace drop that we're going to do, the song that you heard, we're dropping, we're going to build them a school. So this whole year is about raising enough to build them a school. So 100% of whatever donation, we don't care. And we'll just set up like an EOS wallet, whatever. You donate whatever you want at first, right? Just to make it simple. Donate whatever you want. It's going into this, whichever wallet we can go after or whatever. Just 100% of that's going to go to the school. And you'll know you had a part of it. And whatever you were grateful for that day is going to live on this monument until the end of time.
That's awesome, man. So after this podcast, we're making moves here on the podcast. But after this, I definitely want to talk to you, because that's an awesome thing that we can do here in Web3, which is take these different communities and benefit each other. So I think, we have obviously, I think about a month ago now, we did like a really small benefit. It was like super last minute. I believe a guy named Jose Cabrera was taking his squad in Venezuela and going into the Amazon and kind of learning from the different tribes there and getting them supplies and stuff like that. And we actually raised $500 like 2 days after knowing that we needed to plan the event and all this stuff. They did this really cool event in Discord in LADZ City, where they came in, they brought a bunch of artists, we raised a bunch of money. So if the LADZ can do that for different communities like yourself that are really, helping out, I think it's a great combination. And it just speaks to what social token communities can do. And honestly, the problem that we have isn't that we can't do something. It's that we can do anything. And it's, what do we want to do? We like our team, we get into ideation meetings and it's like, well, we could do that and that and that and that. And it's like, well, shit, we can do anything. Like, especially when you have the community, right? Because whatever, if we can all get on board together, if we have 100 of us, 1,000 of us, there's nothing, as long as they are interested in doing that, we could do whatever we want. It's just kind of pinning that down. There's just so many different things once you kind of have a aligned community that you can do for good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good. I was excited about this, but I should have been more excited because when you find communities that are this in sync, like we're gonna be able to do some damage, right? I think that's gonna be fun. And so one of the things we could do, since this is just turning into an ideation meeting anyway, which I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Well, we would we're doing a drop for M Blues, my producer. He's that guy who started Uplift Art. He's got a drop in a couple of weeks called Mr. Spaceman. We made a music video. It's gonna be a whole NFT release, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things we want to do is we just started a competition. So when we get the server kind of finished up a little bit, we need to kind of get World Guard on it, make sure people aren't going in there. And so we might be able to give, if there's any people in your community that love building in Minecraft, mm-hmm. you watch this video, take one element out of it and make, whatever you want to make that kind of, is a part of this picture or a 3D version of it or whatever it is, right? In a plot that's about 50 by 50. And I think we're going to take 10 or 15 people that come in. So if you want to come and try this, let me know. We'll make it happen. We got $500 worth of Bitcoin for the winner. We got 250 for the second one. We got $100 for the third. You get early access into the uplift that like only about 20 people have right now. And so that could be fun. But that as a little demo, right, for your guys' community, I would love to offer you guys right fucking now the same kind of thing where we do an Uplift Art installation for you guys. So community based, you come in, pick 10 builders, whatever you want to do, make whatever the hell you want to make. Whoever makes the best one, we're going to mint that thing as an NFT, right? Mm-hmm. Do a big auction. 50% goes to the charity of your choice. 25% goes to your team. You do whatever the fuck you want with it. And 25% goes to Uplift because, again, we use that just to kind of fuel the engine.
Okay. I'm behind it, and I've got 3 of some of our strongest lads, Paul, Scott, and Llama, saying they all have built in Minecraft in some type of form. So I think they're ready to roll. So as far as like who the leaderboard, who's winning first, second, third, I didn't follow that.
So the way we're thinking about doing it, because we were going to mint these. We might actually mint them all as NFTs and kind of use it for promo. Obviously, give the mint number 1 to whoever built it. Look, we're still working on this idea. We came up with this idea 2 days ago, and now we're just doing it. So,
that's crypto, baby.
We're working on it. So what we would do, I think, is get probably like a little 10-second 360 video, which we can do pretty easily in Minecraft now, of each installation once it gets done. We'll bring that onto to Twitter. With the one that gets the most retweets and likes, wins. Right?
Interesting. How are you going to stop the bots?
The bots. I don't fucking know, dude.
All right, guys. You heard it here first. If you retweet it, I'll give you 1,000 lads or something like. No, I'm joking. But
well, no, yeah, and honestly, dude, I'm all about it. Like, I'm not against going in. I think I just let my Canadian out there. Bribes are good.
Yeah,
make it happen.
Okay. I think let's do this. Let's talk after the call. We're definitely going to work together. So let's talk after the call. Let's get something together. We can bring you on for the multitude of content we do within LADZ and stuff like that, and we can definitely make this work, man, for sure.
Game on. All right, so I want to make sure everybody. It's actually going to be 11 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. We're going to be doing the gratitude event, and if I get my shit together. Maybe we'll try that donation thing right off the bat. But I mean, really, if you show up and you say you're grateful for something in the comments in the YouTube thing, chances are it's going to end up on the wall. We'll get that other thing ready after that. The Burning Man thing, if you want to be part of that auction, it's going to be on Atomic Hub. Just watch my Twitter at Corey Cottrell or at ChirpTap. Only one person is going to be able to press the button. So that auction's probably going to get pretty serious pretty fast.
Is that going to be on Atomic Hub?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome,
if you follow the uplift.art, we're gonna be doing it from their channel, so you'll be able to get that. Yep, you'll be able to actually for the Spaceman thing. Some people are asking about the different blocks you're gonna be able to use. We're going to provide any kind of materials that you want so that you can build it fast. We don't have an economy in game yet, although that's coming. But we want to do this kind of fast. So whatever crazy Minecraft shit you want, we're gonna make sure you get.
Awesome, man. That sounds great. I want to do two things before. I don't know if you're down to keep talking and all this stuff. I'm definitely down.
I mean, I'm having fun, and I was actually thinking about showing you guys something I made for the school thing later on. But yeah, no, I'm down. I got shit tons to do, but this is too much fun, so I'm not leaving till we're done.
I'm going to send you right now. I know that we can't post links in your chat most likely, so I'm going to send you the roll link so that you can drop it in your channel. So maybe you could click that link and get set up with a roll wallet, simple email address. I think it might ask you for a phone number. So some people, haven't been about that, but
I don't care.
Yeah. So I dropped that to your Twitter. The lads that are in here right now know it's coming. But basically it's a LADZ drop.
Okay. I'm on this link. What do I do with this bad boy?
So drop
50 LADZ. Hello.
Yeah. Drop the link into definitely the chat. So the rest, because I believe it's a pool of 40 that I've made. So 40 people can claim this link in at 50 LADZ each.
Oh, dude. Righteous. Okay. Incoming. I have too many freaking things open. Awesome.
And perfect.
Their try roll, that's genius. Mm-hmm. Just shout out to them. Now, okay, here's a question, just off the cuff. Could I move a percentage of the Shipple circulating supply or total supply to them?
I think they have their own type of mechanics, like token mechanics they like to work with. Okay. I can get you in contact with them easy. You can ask them yourself, but I know for the most part, they have like a structured setup where you have a 10 million total supply.
Okay. They
get a certain percentage, but I'm more than welcome to introduce you guys.
Okay. Yeah, because we're out there already. I don't know how we could make sure we benefit them, but I mean, these tools are righteous. I mean, that's good stuff.
Yeah, and to be fair, you can do this by yourself if you have a developer team or anything like that. You can create an ERC20 token. You've already done this essentially, but they do provide marketing services where they're kind of telling the world about us. They have this growing roster of different social tokens, so they do provide benefits, but I have definitely seen some creators to say, hey, I don't want to give that much token equity up for that service.
No, I mean, for me, like, I built it on EOS, right? Like, I basically just Googled shit and it would normally take somebody 5 seconds who was actually a dev to do. It took me a month because I'm a guitar player. It's but you can figure it out. So it's fun. But getting into the dev tools and stuff, where meeting people that can, run the scripts, where they can look at my Minecraft server log, and every time a block gets mined, it kicks out a 1-up token to to that player. I mean, that's when they told me that, I'm like, oh, this is.
Yep, exactly, man. I want to give a shout out too, man, because I looked at some of your other videos. I have to always give a shout out to an EOS holder, man, because ICO Alert, we had Rob Finch, who founded Cypherglass and Everything EOS.
Nice.
So they've been around for a long time. We had it basically of the 14 people in the office. We had the sales team on one side, which included me and a couple others. And then we had the developer team on the other side of the office. And Rob and Zach Gall, who hosts Everything EOS now, they were always chatter. So we were heavy in EOS. I still hold a bag. Through the boom and bust, I've held the entire time. So I definitely, I'm down to talk EOS as well. Definitely want to give a shout out to my fellow EOS holders.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the we focus in on that. Jimmy and I do. We'd love to have you on the EOS IO weekly on Thursday mornings. It'd be really, really good. So what do you think about what Blockone is talking about doing? Because honestly, I've been really excited about the side chains because you can, right? I built, put a couple lines into code, whatever. We launched Shipple off of EOS mainnet, and the CPU thing killed our whole community. Right, so 95% people that had never seen crypto before. The amazing team at Lynx made the Lynx wallet that was so easy, literally everybody could do it. And so it kind of botched us. Is my signal getting weird?
Yeah, it's just a little bit. I think it's gotten a little bit better.
Excellent. And so we basically got crushed. Right?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely Blockone's. I don't want to put too much on Blockone, but I'm not in the camp of the people that really think that Blockone has nothing in the game, essentially, of they're not at fault at all. Like, oh, they raised money, they're shipping code, all this stuff. It's like, dude, Brendan, Dan, they were all there promoting all of this stuff the whole time. And then it was just boom, like instantaneously. I think the last thing we probably got hyped over was 2018 voice launch.
Yeah.
And since then, it's been few and far between.
Almost nothing, right? Jimmy and I harp on this all the time. Like, if you're gonna rake in $4 billion, like at least let us know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now they come out and they say, okay, well, we've got 200,000 plus Bitcoin or whatever it is, and we want to launch a quick, cheap, easy Bitcoin variant off of EOS. What do you think of that?
I think it's. I mean, my issue there is the timeline, right? It's always been the timeline. Like they want to launch all of these different services, but they need to be regulatory compliant because that's what Brendan and the team have shown that they're staying within those boundaries.
Right.
When does this ProFi tool come out? And when is this 2 years from now? I'm just wondering on the timelines. I love everything that they say, but the timelines end up never kind of coming out. So
yeah, I'm definitely in the show me camp. Like it's, saying stuff at this point is fancy, but you're gonna launch voice and everybody who's a bag holder in EOS is like all excited about it. And they're like, yeah, but we're not really gonna like host it off of EOS. Like, wait, what?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And in the beginning, I remember Dan has all these like really theoretical, and he talks a lot like I like founders to talk, right? They talk less technically, although Dan does great at both.
Yeah.
But he talked about like kind of changing the way crypto was, I guess the crypto onboarding is definitely something that he was mentioning, and it definitely hasn't gotten better up until like the last 6 months. I think Anchor's done pretty well, but they didn't fund Scatter. I loved Scatter.
Yeah. And talk about low hanging fruit, right? Like they have their fingers in every single thing. They're making it all, usable. Everybody's using it. And, you have $4 billion.
They couldn't throw them a scrap of a scrap of a scrap.
You could accidentally have thrown them 10 million by accident and funded them for 3 years.
Yeah. I think the onboarding is my number one when it comes to EOS. I think there are really cool things being built on EOS. One of the things that I get super kind of upset about is the lack of connection between all of the fork chains with Wax and Ultra. And Talos goes out of their way to shit on EOS, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. We should, and I say we, you can tell that I'm a bag holder. We should be bagging. We should be connected together. Wax should make EOS stronger, and they should be talking about that. But they kind of just forked the code. There wasn't anything given to EOS. Like there wasn't anything like, hey, 0.001% will flow back to EOS token holders. They forked the code, and that was it.
It was supposed to be designed like, even if they made it as a huge priority to turn EOS into the IBC, the Inter-Blockchain Communication Hub, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's entirely plausible. And I know they talked constantly about the fact that EOS.io is kind of designed for that. And I think it is, right? So you can have Proton talking to Wax, talking to EOS, and basically have them all interchangeable. I was actually talking to Mike he's one of the kind of block producer server junkie at the EOS USA block producer. And if you haven't had him on, do it. He's really fun. But that he's been talking a lot about that because we're talking about moving a percentage of Shipple from EOS mainnet over to Wax, just because it's where all the NFTs live and where I've been living, more or whatever. But it just speaks to, again, because it's all just information, right? Having these things become it's going to blend in the background where you're not going to have one internet for Chicago and one internet for Miami. You're just going to have the internet, right? Those places have separate networks, but you don't know that, and you don't need to know that, right? And I have a feeling that's where all this stuff has to go.
Yeah, and by all accounts, devs I've talked to have said EOS.io is awesome, and you have all these things that are being developed on EOS. I'm not talking about that at all, but the lack of not only the marketing aspect, which is like cliche at this point, but the negative attention that we get from the rest of the community is palpable. The ETH community makes up a lion's share of the crypto sentiment today, and they, for all accounts, hate EOS. I mean, the only thing they hate more is XRP, and that's kind of the situation.
Speaking of, did you want to maybe speak to them getting delisted off Coinbase?
Good. I I don't really have anything to tell. I mean, I just stay away from XRP. For the life of me, I don't understand why everyone that is a normie, the first thing they ask me is like, do I need to buy XRP? I don't understand
marketing.
That.
It's right. Like if you have marketing and you have a name that people like the banks or whatever, you have connected names that seem like, okay, well, this is kind of like the old world and meets the new world. And like maybe, yeah, but do you know they offload $1 billion a month to their friends? Like, come on, man. Like it's ridiculous. That's why, like, again, my joke this morning was like they're delisted Ripple and they're actually going to list Shipple like within days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's lie. They're not going to do that, but it'd be really funny if they did.
Well, say that one more time.
I was saying this morning that they got rid of Ripple. They're gonna list Shipple now.
It's your moment,
right? One of those tokens is fucking useful, and it's not Ripple.
Yeah, it's true. And honestly, with the addition of all of these layer 2 and PayPal and all these different things, you don't even need Ripple. There's not even really a need for it anymore, as far as like a fast transmission of different crypto like currencies, essentially. So
right. Well, and to the best of my knowledge, they never used it for that, right? Like they had their own sub token that they were using. If you bought Ripple, that Ripple could be used for exactly nothing except giving liquidity to their friends. That's it.
Yeah.
It was a share.
Yeah.
And not even a good share because there was no feedback mechanism for it. So yeah, like the SEC, you know, there was a lot of people out there. They're like, you know, they came for Ripple. They're going to start coming for everybody else. Well, if you're an actual security, then yeah, they're going to come after you. They were always going to come after you, right? Like this is the lowest hanging fruit for them.
Definitely, and they'll be the first ones to tell you that they need. They'll be the first ones to tell you like the crypto community should be backing us, should be supporting us. Look at the SEC attacking crypto. It's like, dude, you guys are out there by yourself. Nobody within the crypto community really, you know, feels any type of sentiment that way, where it's like the SEC attacking crypto. This is kind of like a cancer that needs to be taken out of the community. So it does suck. I mean, these delistings, hopefully they take a long time for the people that, you know, have Ripple right now, for the normies that, you know, will learn in 2 weeks that they can't liquidate their XRP holdings. That would suck.
It's rough. And that, I mean, I've met like the people that went through the ICO wars and, you know a lot of people that like lost a lot of money. Like the second Bitcoin hit 15,000 last time, I started telling people to sell. Right. Like, and you know, it goes, I mean, when it goes truly parabolic, you have to liquidate. You're gonna lose. Like it's just a game of chicken at that point, right? Sell some, like lock some up, you get some gains. You know, if you want to hold for 2 crypto cycles, then yeah, ignore it. Fine, right?
And those cycles were on steroids, catalyzed by a billion when it came to DeFi summer. I mean, you had a full cycle happen with a single token within a 6-day window. Like,
that's crazy.
It was crazy. I look on with fond eyes. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but ICOs were, I think, unfairly judged. I think the community has come far enough where we're going to start seeing ICOs again, even though you could potentially say what's happening with some of these DeFi tokens right now, where you get listed on, you know, Uniswap, and now you have all of this liquidity and all of this kind of capital formation happening. That's just a different tool to do what ICOs were accomplishing, which is get money into the hands of some fund so that you could start, you know, iterating on it. I love ICOs as a concept. You shouldn't have these outdated accredited investor rules. It's really, really dumb, but you know, people ruined it as they always do. So I look on ICOs fondly though. ETH was a great ICO.
OG. Yeah. No, I think that model, and you just hit exactly the point, right? The accredited investor rules are ridiculous. If you wanted to invest in the first round of Tesla, I mean, you couldn't. You just literally couldn't, right? And you know, ICOs let us do that. Now, granted, you know that you open it up, and there's going to be a lot of new, and you know, I apologize, but dumb money that comes in there, and that's what we hate to see. You know, people getting suckered, and Ripple sort of for me the biggest example of that. Like it's total vaporware. You know, except for, you know, some of the back end stuff they were doing for banks that ultimately, like, there was no walled garden. Like anyone who knows how to run a server could do the same thing and accomplish the same thing. So like people that get that, whatever, you don't want those people to lose money. But the answer to that is not stop poor people from investing.
Yep.
Right? Like that wealth creation should absolutely be the point, right? And we need to, and I like the what you're saying about the ICO alerts thing, where you were basically, okay, let's try to be a filter, right? And you're not going to be a perfect filter. There's no way to do it, right? Because, you know, if you're investing in startups, the one thing, and I want everyone to write this down, if you don't know this, I'm sure most of you already do, most startups are going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing. If you go to, you know, San Francisco, you know, Silicon Valley, most of those startups fail. You never hear about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people are investing in those, and those are the investment pools from which the Facebooks and the Twitters and the Ubers come from. But the people investing in those know, and they spread their money out accordingly, that, you know, if they want one unicorn, one amazing, you know, sushi freaking what the crap Facebook investment, they got to do at least 50, if not 200,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you have all of your stuff in one bag and you think it's going to moon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we have to teach each other how to basically do this from the ground up, because the idea that somebody from Venezuela could put $5 in, right, and create wealth for their family that is going to last if they held it for, you know, I mean, that, you know, sign me the fuck up. Like, I want to help that happen, because it that needs to happen.
Yeah, the coronavirus was definitely a drink for everyone that's waiting for the coronavirus on a podcast, because I feel like that happens every podcast episode. But you know, I think it catalyzed a lot of the things that we would see maybe 5 years, 10 years from now, or maybe it did things that we would never know what the other, you know, in another type of, you know, universe, if there was no coronavirus, when we would have gotten to this point. But I think it's woken a lot of people up to this idea that the structures that kind of keep up society are not strong. And like one little nudge, you start to like wobble a little bit. You're like, holy shit, this could fall apart in an instant. So I think it's waking a lot of people up to the things that you're talking about. I'm definitely excited.
That I love being the sort of thinking in terms of silver lining as well, because I think you're right. Like that even just down like the kind of bringing us all in line and forcing us to communicate like this. Like, I was already doing that, but a lot of people are doing that now. My wife, she's a neuropharmacologist at the VA, right? She's going into the office all the time. Yeah, she's way smarter than me. I'm like batting way out of my league. When I play Solace later, you'll understand why that song like all magical. It's because, you know, I have an amazing muse and married way above my station. But she got to come home and work from home, like right then. And now, like, she has to go back to work and stole my office, right? I'm actually getting my office today, which is really fun. But it was great having her home for almost the entire pandemic, right? And it kind of breaks it. Like, suddenly the parking lot's empty. It's been a huge problem. The roads have been less empty. And like, you know, we could just do this. You know, like, you can work anywhere and do anything. Like, going into an office, unless you need to, is stupid.
Yeah.
For everything. Like, electric cars are great, but just work from home.
I completely agree, man. There's a lot of these entity like structures that control our lives that are so big that they're hard to move and change direction very quickly. Like, we're able to do being nimble. But it was a hard left when we hit coronavirus. So I think people are starting to understand that stuff. But yeah, I love that insight.
You're right about how brittle everything is too. And I think a lot of us have kind of known that we're sitting on a house of cards in a lot of ways. And that I call that institutional momentum, what you were talking about, like that you have large institutions that, you know, are like an oil tanker to try and change directions unless they have to, right? Like iceberg COVID dead ahead. Well, suddenly it's like, you know, and you know, they sort of can get broken out of patterns that have just, I think, become habits.
That's so true. You know, one thing when all of this stuff was starting to happen and I got more into libertarianism and crypto and kind of all of these different things and ideas that crypto people normally have, is that I thought maybe the world would go back into like a tribalism mode where like localism, I guess is probably the better word, where we started to kind of expand. And then we forgot, especially in America, that most of the things that we need to be taken care of are in our local community. And, you know, I think that will eventually be the case, but it's funny that the local community or tribes within Web3, like that's what I've kind of drifted towards. It's not my local community here, but all of these different tribes are starting to come up. People live in LADZ, you know, like there's people that we have events and then we have another event and then we have another event and we're all hanging out together. And it's funny just how that tribe has become. It's almost like Web3 local. I don't know how to explain it.
That's right. And we get that sense of community in these groups, right? Whether it's like, LADZ or Chirp or by the way, shout out to, I'm watching the Chirp Telegram right now. A bunch of you LADZ badasses are in there like, give me some fucking coins, because you got to get. And no, they're not being mean. I'm just paraphrasing. Okay. They're being completely awesome. But I want to give a shout out to the people in there who are donating coins from their own stash. They know that if they give out 50 coins in that Telegram thing, that I'm going to give them 60 every single time they do it. And they're just like, it's happening at scale, which is awesome. But the community thing, we have this sense of, okay, we're going to gather some people around the LADZ token, right? And we kind of have this sense that it's going to be more value later on, and we try all these experiments, and we're doing all these things, and that's I think I've seen that iterated in a few different ways. But place was the missing feature, right? Like Discord's one thing, but if you can walk in and like join your friend and go off into the corner of LADZ town in the Sandbox and build a storefront, or just build a freaking garage where, you're going to play video games. Who knows what this is going to look like in 5 years or whatever, right? Now, not only do you have community, but you have place in a way that is visceral, right? That's what we found by accident, frankly, in Minecraft. We opened this up during the pandemic to have some other people come in and join us. And this lady who's like an artist, has kids, doesn't play video games, wanted to come in and she was part of the Shipple community, didn't know about cryptocurrency before that, right? I just kind of drag her into everything. But she comes in and starts kind of messing around. Never played Minecraft before, comes to the gratitude ceremony that we do on Sundays, and asked if she could bring her daughter into this. Lives in a different town. They haven't seen each other for months, right? It's like, yeah, of course. So we whitelist her for the server, and they go off and one of the rules that we've had, you're going to own land, so you're not going to be able to build on any land where you're not allowed to, except for yours or whatever, right? We're going to figure that out. But it's basically been like, you can't build in sight of anyone else's stuff. And the land area in a Minecraft server is the size of Neptune. So like, you're not going to run out, right? So they go off a little ways, and you can actually still visit what they've done. And they basically say, okay, well, what do you want to build? So they start building this like goofy little house, turned into a ranch. It's like a spread, like it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like that. And that place is going to get turned into an NFT that you're going to be able to buy or find, in the world. And if you hold this, it's going to increase the amount of 1-up that you gain and the amount of NFT chance that you have. Only if the opposite one, because they're going to come in pairs, is in somebody else's account and they're on the server. It requires that community, because like Sue is my friend. She's telling me like she hasn't been able to hang out and do things in a place with her daughter for months.
Wow.
And the feels come out, like for real. Like it was intense.
Yeah.
And it still is. And I think we've been craving that as these communities, whether it's Shipple or LADZ or whatever, like having a place where you can come and be just unleash creativity, like, insanely. But then, dive into the economics of that place and create incentive structures around that, and have communities that are coming around and rubbing up against each other in place. That's why Sandbox is working. That's why Decentraland is working. Like suddenly there's that presence component to community.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about land sales being the lion's share of NFT sales. Like if you look at all the metrics, like land sales have been predominantly the number one driver of that volume. Yeah. And it has to do, I think, with digital property rights, right? Like NFTs, I'm preaching to the choir here. Like we're moving in the direction of a fully digital world, not the other way. And you have to have digital property rights within that world, right? I can't just hop into the Sandbox, build all this stuff, and then Sandbox be able to take it away from me. Like that is the idea behind NFTs. But it's so interesting that land sales are the thing, because I think it maybe my generation thinks this way, but not a lot of my generation and younger are homeowners. But what you get is that sense of home ownership within and land ownership within the metaverse, right? Like I think it's been talked about ad nauseum in the US, at least, that the pay gaps are getting stronger, and the minimum wage hasn't risen X amount, and all that stuff. It's harder to own land for younger people, but you can go into this place that essentially is your community, right? And you can own land there. Yeah,
it's in a meaningful way, and yeah, I mean, All of these things are going to be fantastic. You know,
clip that. Clip that.
Like, right? I mean, the dog's going to be asleep the whole time, but like, God damn it, this is going to be fucking rad.
I do want to give it one more shout out. I know I'm on your show, so I can't be doing this too much.
Do always with the shout outs. Yeah. Zero limit on the shout outs.
Crypto Buffalo is our director of production over there at Layer 1 and LADZ, and he does a great job. He loves, I mean, he's already in the metaverse. He's on the West Coast, so he's just getting up and waking up to this rabbit hole discussion I'm sure he loves, but he definitely has been a big driver of getting us into the metaverse situation and this connection and driving that stuff. I think he does a LADZ radio within Discord that's been awesome. Like after our shows, we hop into Discord and we do like a whole set. He's awesome. And I think getting people to the point where they start to communicate verbally is just another step. I think it breaks down a barrier. And he's definitely one of the ones that started that within LADZ City. It's one thing to be chatting and then another thing to be talking to someone else. And I think once you talk to someone else, it's like another step of being inclusive within that community. I think that's something that's not talked about. Like if you sit there and chat on Twitch all day, I think it's a little bit different than being in Discord and talking to each other. So
no, I agree. And the thank you for that. Because one of the things that people have been doing organically in the game, you just go in the game, like you type in Minecraft, it's like not good, right? I mean, it's great, but people are getting on Zoom first. And then they're going and building. And then that, you're in constant voice, I'm sure Discord would work the same way. But you're actually talking, you're hanging out, right? Like you're in the same place. And, building a ranch or again, I really want to invite any of you guys that are in Minecraft. I want to recruit, frankly, we can even try as many of you as you want to get in. We'll whitelist you on a tiny little slice of the server. And you can get in on this spaceman thing and maybe win $500 worth of Bitcoin. So I think that'll be fun. So we'll talk about that after and see if we can launch that. But even teams, right? If you want to come in with a buddy and build the same thing, do it. Like we don't care. It's about unleashing that creativity and then turning those things into NFTs and raising money for charity. It's kind of where we're at. I
love that, man. I love that message. I think working with separate communities and kind of bringing that as more of a network as opposed to kind of siloed communities is the way to do it. It's what we're doing. It's awesome, man. You're like, I don't know what you said earlier. What did I say that you need to clip? This is going to be great.
All these things are going to be awesome.
That's how we feel daily, man.
Right.
It's just honing in and trying to figure out what can you execute? Because we can sit here and think about it all day long. And there's so many cool things we can do. It's executing it and having a community be able to build that with you is the vision.
I think that's where our heads are spinning a little bit. Because like we came up with the idea for the Burning Man yesterday. I put it out. There's about 12 people, maybe 20 people in the server who've been whitelisted so far. It's like, hey, could you guys get something built by like Friday, and we'll like do this NFT release and auction it off and make a button or whatever. 4 hours later, the thing's done. It's the size of a very large building, like a skyscraper sized dude. And it was amazing. And so iterating for that, the conversation we had about that yesterday turned into the Spaceman release thing today. We're like, well, what if we just had a bunch of people come in and build some stuff, right? And again, that you bring the communities in, you connect all the communities together, you give them a place, and that creativity turns into an art piece. That art piece turns into an NFT, and that NFT lives on the world. Like we're going to create this permanent value that is collectible, saleable, tradable, that whole thing. It's gonna be good.
It is gonna be good.
We're gonna turn it into a school.
We're totally in line with what you're doing. So definitely want to talk afterwards. You'll be on the LADZ radio channel, get interviewed by Buffalo within the next month. I guarantee it.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So if you guys are cool with it, I actually haven't played this for anybody but my producer. Is it cool if I show you guys this weird thing that I made an hour ago?
Your show.
I guess it is, right? Hold on here. Let's see if I can load this up. Now it's not working. Come on now. Well, that didn't work at all. There we go. All right. We're pros.
Let's do it.
And by I mean you're a pro and I'm all right, let me know if you guys can hear this. When I start it. No volume?
No volume yet.
Mother effer. Okay. Let's do this. Yes, this is going to work. Then that thing goes away. There we go. All right.
What if we could turn this song
There it is.
into a school and change hundreds of lives forever?
There's no tension, it's all. There's no way that this pattern could do any harm. Here with you, here with you, there's no way I can stop. So hard to write songs about contentment and peace. It's a warm afternoon, the dogs are asleep. You know that I adore you, I need to repeat. I love you. You make me complete. Yeah, yeah. There's nobody like you. No greater virtues or ways you could improve. I kiss you good morning. Sign, pull me close. I will always protect you. We'll be the life we look back on and smile. The road will be long, not long enough. You know that I adore you, but I need to repeat. I love you. You make me complete. Yeah, 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 yeah. No tension in solace. There's no way that this pattern could do any harm. Here with you, there's no way I'm this lucky. It's so hard to write songs about contentment and peace. It's a warm afternoon, the dogs are asleep. You know that I adore you. I need to repeat. I love you. You make me complete. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
I'm so grateful for the entire team at Uplift.art for making this possible.
Wow.
Fun, right?
Thanks for sharing that, man. That was awesome. I haven't FOMO'd for concerts in like 2 months, but that made me FOMO. I wish I was like back row in a concert, man. Awesome.
So we're gonna hire some like legit, like scary good Minecraft builders to build a massive amphitheater in the Uplift, and you can apparently do like a browser window in game.
Mm.
So I'm gonna do a concert in that world.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Will it be as cool as like hanging out with 10,000 other awesome music fans? No. It's not gonna be that cool.
We'll get there one day.
But right, exactly.
Yeah. Can I extend the invitation to LADZ City as well? You need to do that in LADZ City when we have it built. That would be
100%,
awesome.
100%. Yeah, I think that cross pollination. I'm all about. If we do siloed networks, they're going to be less valuable. They become exponentially more valuable the more connected we make them in meaningful ways, right? And you have to maintain that community cohesion, because again, like you can fork off stuff until it's completely and totally valueless, right? But there's always going to be ways to combine our powers to do projects, right? And that's where we think the doing good stuff is going to be it. And again, like we would love to invite you guys to come in and build for the Spaceman thing. One thing I mentioned in the comments above, we're going to be doing art for the Solace Drop. It will only be art installations that are in the Uplift, so you can come and do that. And if you're in one of the, I think we're going to take 5 different builders as well as me. You're going to make as much personally from that drop as I do, and I wrote the song, right? So we wanted to make it really economically good for whoever comes in and does this for us. And again, 50% of the revenue for that is going to go to our goal this year of building a school in Haiti.
Awesome. And what's the timeline with that?
A couple months.
Okay. Awesome.
It's mid-March. But the Spaceman thing, and we'll send out invites when we get it ready. Like that, I think we're gonna have people building those out next week. So like Monday. And that again, it's like a little 50 by 50 plot. I'll send you the video. Like the music video is from my buddy on Blue. And there's like a bunch of like block kind of pictures in it anyway. Like he didn't design it purposefully, but it could have been so that people could come in and build like, weird artistic shit. And again, those are going to get turned into NFTs, and the winners get some Bitcoin or wax if you prefer. And trust me, you should take the wax. All
right, lads, you hear it. That's what we're going to be doing next week. We're going to be doing that alongside your community, man. That's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
Cool beans. All right. Is there anything else? That you want our community to know? You're going to have a Chirp channel, and we're going to light that shit up.
We can definitely do that. I can get you a link to LADZ City. I don't know if you want to come check that out.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me do that on stream here. Let's see. All right, this is a 1 day only link. Here we go.
Oh, so this is like hard to get in? Like what? Tell me more about this. Like you can't just like, it's like an exclusive club type scenario.
So we use like Web3 tools for tokenized access, but you can come in, but as you get more LADZ, and we actually, if you link your LADZ that you just got, I think you got 50, you'll instantly be a higher rank than someone that comes in and doesn't have it. So you'll come in, you'll only see a little bit of LADZ City. And then as you rank up, you see more and more, you get more access to everything that we're doing. That's based on our social token. So
yeah, that's really cool, man.
Yeah. So get in there, go to start here. You should see the kind of rules that you need to follow. We're kind of playing on the lore of connecting your wallet to the mainframe of the city. So you need to go in, connect your wallet to the mainframe of LADZ City, and then you'll rank up and you'll get different access. Well, I'll see you in main chat, man. I'll see you in the main square.
That's righteous. I'm a huge fan of that. All right, man. Yeah, community's power. That's the saying that, it just keeps coming back over and over and over again. And I feel it.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on the channel. I agree with you completely. Like, even if you try to fork it, you really can't fork the soul there. That's not forkable. So definitely, I'm all about it. Thanks for everybody that showed up too. You guys are awesome, and we're building some cool shit. So as Corey said, all of this is going to be great.
These are all going to be awesome. Anyway, Cheers, dude. Thank you so much. We'll chat after the show here. And yeah, clearly we're just gonna go build some cool stuff.
Hell yeah.
Ciao.